Hi there. Hope you have a fantastic day today. This lesson, I will go through 2023 HSC paper with you. Of course, there's a PDF file versions on the description below for you to download so you can work with me. Otherwise, let's go straight into it. Question 25. On the first day of November, Gia's deposits $10,000 into a new account which earns 0.4% per month. Okay, so that's the interest rate and then compounded monthly. At the end of each month, after the interest is added to the account, Gia intends to withdraw M amount, okay, from the account. So we need to show A2 is this. And we know that A2 is the balance amount after the interest and the M amount of money that we draw. So let's work out A1 first. And A1 is at the end of the month. So that means at the end of the month, his balance will be like this. So we have $10,000 and with the interest on top. So I use A is P 1 plus R power of N. And R is 0.4%. So let me just write this down here. So 10,000, 1 plus 0.4%. Power 1. 0.4 over 100 and add 1 on top is just 0.004. So keep that in mind. So that is times by 1.004. That is the amount of money at the end of the month. That is after the interest added to the account. But then he withdraw M amount. So we take out M. So that is the amount of money at the end of first month. So we need to work out at the end of second month. That is A2. So A2 is equal to A1 and times the interest on top. So that is 1.004 and then we minus M amount. That's what that meant. But A1 is this. This is A1. So let me just replace this. So that is equal to 10,000 times 1.004 minus M and we times by 1.004. So that is this part here. And now we just need to minus M. Just write this down. Minus M. What I do now is I just expand the brackets. So this times this will give me 10,000 times 1.004 square. And this times that, so will give me negative M times, I can put brackets 1.004 and minus M. So there you go. Now we need to show AN is this for part B. So to work it out, let me just work out A3 first. A3 is the amount that at the end of third month. So A3 is equal to A2 times 1.004 and we minus M amount. So A2 is this. So this one's here, okay? So let me just write this down. So that will give me 10,000 times by 1.004 square minus M 1.004 and minus M and we times by 1.004. So now this is done. And this is for this. Then we need to write down minus M. Now I just expand the brackets. So what I do, I just go 1.004 times this will give me this. Equal 10,000 1.004 square times 1.004 give me power 3. Minus, and this time together give me M 1.004 square. We minus, and this time this is M times 1.004 and we minus m. So there you go. So what I do with these terms here, I take out the negative m factor. So if I take negative m factor out, so that will give me, so 10,000, 1.004 power of 3 negative m out. So therefore that will give me 1.004 square. This is another bracket here. And plus, because I took negative m out. So that becomes 1.004 and we plus 1. Now let me just rewrite in ascending order for these terms here. So that becomes A3 is equal to 10,000, 1.004 power of 3 minus m. So that becomes 1 plus 1.004. We add 1.004 square. So now we need to work out an. So an, now if you think about it, this is power 3, so this is power 3. So therefore an will become, instead of power 3, is power n. So that becomes 10,000, 1.004 power of n minus m, 1 plus 1.004 at 1.004 square at. Now again, if we have A3, this is power of 2. So an will be 1 less, so n minus 1. So that become at 1.004 power of n minus 1. So keep that in mind. So now what happened is, I'm just gonna add this together. So this series here. So we know that Sn is a r power of n minus 1 over r minus 1. Okay, we use the sum of series. So now that becomes 10,000, 1.004 power of n minus m. I is 1. And then bracket r is 1.004 power of n minus 1 over 1.004 minus 1. So let me just bracket this properly. So there you go. So what I do now is I just simplify this. So we can just go 1.004 minus 1 is 0.004. So therefore, this is exactly the same as times by 1 over 0.004. If you think about it, okay? So I just jump a little bit because I run out of space. So what I do, I just put on the calculator. So let me just clear this. 1 over 0.004. So that is 250. Okay, keep that in mind. So that is equal to 10,000, 1.004 power of n minus 250 m, because this together is 250 m. Okay, keep that in mind, because 1 over 0.4 is equal to 250. So now at brackets, inside brackets, we live with, let me clear this first, 1.004 power of n, and don't forget another bracket inside, so minus 1. So what I do, I just remove the brackets. That will give me 10,000, 1.004 power of n minus, I timed it together, give me 250 m, 1.004 power of n, and minus, we time this with this, so give us negative, become positive 250 m. So there you go. So let's check. Now what I do, I have to work out in this form. So I take out the common factor. So the common factor for this term here is 1.004 power of n. So I take it and I put in the back. So that will give me 10,000 minus 250 m times by 1.004 power of n, and we add 250 m. Let's double check. So there you go. Question 25. Gia wants to be able to make at least 100 withdrawals. What is the largest value of m that will enable Gia to do this? So we know that the minimum withdrawals is 100 times. Okay, so let's make n equal 100. Okay, so, and then we work out the value of m, and then we interpret from there. Okay, so if n is 100, so therefore that means that 100 is equal to 0, because it's the minimum withdrawals in this case is 100 times, and then we find the value of m. So we know that 0, that is 100 becomes 0, is equal to 10,000 minus 250 m and times 1.004. Instead of power of n, we power of 100 because n is 100, and we add 250 m. So now what I do, I just solve for m. To solve this, first of all, let me just remove this bracket first. I'm gonna go this time that and this time this. So 0 equal, so that becomes 10,000 times 1.004 power of 100 minus 250 m times 1.004 power of 100. We add 250 m. So what I do, I just collect like terms. So we got this one here, we add with this. So that will give me 0 equal 10,000. So I just go negative 250 with times 1.004 power of 100. And then we plus 250. So there you go. So negative 122.66 will do. So 0 equal 10,000, 1.004 power of 100 minus 122.66 m. So what I do now is I just move this on this side. So that becomes positive 122.66 m is 10,000 power 100. So now m equals, so I just put on a calculator. So I just go 10,000 brackets 1.004 power of 100. And then we just divide by the answer. So there you go. And we should ignore the negative because the answer was negative number. Okay, keep that in mind. So I just ignore the negative. So 121.527 and so on. But we need the largest amount. So that means for n 100 times, this means that we can only withdraw the largest amount is $121.52 because m cannot be greater than 1 to 1.53. Okay, have to be less than that. So therefore, the greatest amount is $121.52. So therefore, the largest amount. So there you go. Question 26. So first of all, we know that x of t is the horizontal distance. So from here to here. So keep that in mind. And t is the time in second. So the first one is said here, given that x of t is this. So the question is, we need to find x of t, given that the x dt is this. So we just integrate this, okay? So x of t is integrations of negative 1.5 pi sine of 5 pi 4t dt. So to integrate this, we differentiate the angle, give me 5 pi over 4. So instead of divide by 5 pi over 4, I can flip that, becomes times 4 over 5 pi. So I'm just integrating it. Okay, so 4 over 5 pi, we times negative 1.5 pi. And we integrate sine, give me cos, but negative. So therefore I change that to positive. Okay, so cos of 5 pi over 4t. And don't forget, we need to add a constant c. And now what I do, I just simplify this. This pi cancel out. And 4 over 5. And if we times 1.5. So there you go. Shift SD or SD. Give me 6 over 5. 6 over 5 cos of 5 pi over 4 t, and we add a c. And we know that the seat is released from rest at the horizontal distance of this. So when time starts 0, x is equal to 1.2 meters or 11.2 meters. So let me write this down. So when t is 0, x is equal to 1.2 meters. Yep. Now what I do, I just substitute that in. So that means 1.2 is equal to, now when t equals 0, so this means this part is 0. So cos 0 is equal to 1. So therefore 1 times 6 over 5 is 6 over 5 at c. So this means that c is equal to, so I just go 11.2 minus 6 over 5. So I just minus answer, so 10. So therefore c is 10. So therefore x of t will give me 6 over 5 cos of 5 pi over 4t. And then we add 10. So there you go. Part B. How many times does the swing reach the closest point to the camera during the first 10 seconds? So there are multiple ways of doing this, okay? The easiest way is this. We just quickly find the amplitude of this graph and then we just interpret it from there, okay? So let me just do a quick sketch first. For cos graph, it's like this. Because it's the center of the graph is 10. So this is 10 here, okay? Which is do a quick sketch. And the amplitude is 6 over 5. Doesn't really matter in this case. We're just interpreting it. So the cos graph is start from here. It's just go like this. So what we need to find is we need to find the lowest one, okay? Because it's closest to the camera. So that is this point here, okay? We just need to find the time. Before we do this, of course, we know that we start at maximum point and then to the maximum here is 1 period. So this means that we just need to work out the period of the graph. The period is 2 pi over n. So 2 pi over n. But n is 5 pi over 4. So instead of divide by 5 pi over 4, I flip it, becomes times by 4 over 5 pi. So that becomes 2 pi times 4 over 5 pi. So this cancel out. So that will give me 8 over 5. So that is equal to 1.6 seconds. That is the period. So we can interpret from here. So from here to here is 1.6. So therefore, half of this is half of 1.6, 0.8 seconds. So keep that in mind. And then from here to here, we add one more period, that is 1.6. And then from here to here, we add 1.6. So these are the time that closest to the camera. So I can just write the answer. So therefore, t is equal to, the first answer is 0.8 seconds. Then we add 1.6 on top. So I just go 0.8 at 1.6. So 2.4 seconds. And then add another 1.6, we add until it reach 10 seconds. So I just go answer plus 1.6. So 4 seconds. Then I just press equal 5.6 and equal 7.2 and then 8.8 and equal 10.4. So that over 10 seconds. So we stop here. So therefore, the answer is, let me write this down first, seconds. So therefore, the answer is 0.8, 2.4, 4, 5.6, 7.2, 8.8 seconds. Okay, so these are the time that closest to the camera. Question 27. So we need to work out the value of A, B, and C. Now to work it out, first of all, we should recognize that if the graph is like this, so this is absolute value of x, but is negative. Okay, let's say if f of x is this, okay. But then remember, A is not -1. It could be -2, -3, and so on. So we just write A, absolute value of x. A is less than 0. Okay. So now what it does, it moves 6 units to the right. So that means like this: f of x is equal to A, absolute value of x minus 6. And then it gone up by 7 units. So we add 7. So there you go. We got this equation already. So what we need to do, we just need to find the value of A. So the value of A is we can either use this point or this point, okay, to work it out. Let me just work it out. So let me just write f of x first is A, x minus 6 plus 7. And let me just pick the point 3, -5. So 3, -5. So this means that -5 equal A. Now 3 minus 6, it gives you -3. Okay, so let's write it down. -3 plus 7. So I move 7 on this side. So that will give me -12, because -7 minus 5, so -12. That give me absolute value of -3, give me 3, so 3A. So therefore, A is -4. Then I can answer the questions now. So now I know that therefore, A is -4, B is, so B is this value here, so it's 6, okay? So that is 6, and then C is 7. So there you go. Now part B, so we have the line y equal mx, cut the graphs of y equal f of x into distinct place. Find all possible value of m. So therefore, if we look at the graph here, this gradient here is, let's say m1 is -4. We have the gradient because A is -4. So therefore, it's -m for this part. And this one, the gradient is 4. So m is 4. So we have a line, that's y is mx. So this means that it passed through origin. So if you think about it, okay, we pass through origin like this. Now for negative gradient, so therefore, if it parallel to this, if this m here equal -4, it can only cut this line, okay, because it parallel to this. So it will not cut this line. So therefore, anything that less than -4, it will only cut once of the graph. That's all, cut at one point. So therefore, we know that the m must be greater than -4. That's the first thing for this line here, okay? Now for m is positive, so if you think about it, positive m will be like this, okay? So therefore, the maximum that can go through is here, okay? The graph must be, maximum must be go through this. So therefore, the line must just below the point 6, 7 in order to cut the absolute equation twice, okay? Keep that in mind. So let me just find the gradient of this. So maximum, it goes through this, right? So let me write on here first. So the gradient for that is equal to 7 minus 0 over 6 minus 0. So 7 over 6. So let me just write this down. So therefore, the gradient m must be, the first thing is must be greater than -4. And the other one, m must be less than 7 over 6. So now we know that therefore the gradient must be between 7 over 6 and -4. So there you go. Question 28. So first of all, we know that this line here is parallel to this line. That means they're same gradient. So in another word, at point R, the gradient of this line is equal to 1, because this gradient here is 1, because y equal x plus 7. So we understand the graph so far. So now what we need to do, we need to find coordinate of R. So therefore, we know R has a gradient of 1. So in another word, this has a gradient of 1 because R is a tangent of this curve y equal f of x. That means 3x squared minus 6x minus 8 is 1 because this is a gradient of this curve, and which is equal 1 at point R. Okay, it's a tangent. So now we just solve it. So 3x squared minus 6x minus 9 is 0. So if I divide by 3 on every term, so that gives me x squared minus 2x minus 3 is 0. And I factorize this, so that becomes x minus 3, x plus 1 is 0. So therefore, x is 3 or x is -1. But then don't forget, x is 3 is for R. Okay, x is 3, whereas x is -1 is for coordinate of t. Okay, so keep that in mind. So therefore, we have x is 3. That is for coordinate of R. Okay, for the x coordinate. Now we need to find the coordinate of R for the y value. So to do this, we know that the point -1, 6 is for these functions f of x as well. So what I do, I just need to find the functions of f of x first. To do this, I need to integrate this one here. So now we just go y is equal to the integrations of 3x squared minus 6x minus 8 dx. So that will give me 3x power 3 divided by 3. That give me x power 3. And then we minus 6x squared divided by 2. So that become minus 3x squared. And then we minus 8x and we add a c. So therefore, it's passing through coordinate t. So t is -1, 6. So that means, so let me just write here, -1, 6. So now that gives me 6 equal -1 power 3 is -1. Minus 3 times -1 squared is 1. So 3 times 1 is 3. Plus -8 times 1 is +8 at c. So let me just write it on here. So now we just simplify this. 6 is equal to, so -1 minus 3 is -4 plus 8 is 4 plus c. So c is 2. Y is equal to x power 3 minus 3x squared minus 8x, and then we add c. C is 2, so plus 2. So now when x is 3, so when x is equal to 3, y equal 3 power 3 is 27 minus 3 times 9, because 3 squared is 9, minus 8 times 3, 24, we add 2. So that will give me, so these two cancel out, And negative 24 plus 2 is negative 22. So therefore, the coordinate R is 3, negative 22. So there you go. And thank you so much for watching. Bye.